In the vast tapestry of existence, there exists a hidden truth that few souls are ready to embrace. Pain, in all its forms, is not a punishment nor a random occurrence in our lives. It is, perhaps, the most profound teacher we will ever encounter. When we experience suffering, we often ask, "Why me?" This question echoes through the chambers of our being, seeking an answer that seems forever out of reach. Yet, what if I told you that this pain you carry has been carefully chosen, not to break you but to awaken you? The ancient wisdom keepers understood this mystery. Edgar once spoke of how souls in the hidden realm choose the challenges they will face before entering physical form. Think of it as a sacred contract your higher self created for the purpose of your spiritual evolution. Consider the story of Maria, who lost her child to a sudden illness. The grief nearly destroyed her, pulling her into the darkest abyss a mother could experience. For 3 years, she existed rather than lived, her spirit crushed under the weight of her loss. Then one night, in the depth of her despair, she experienced something extraordinary, a profound connection to something greater than herself. In that moment, Maria understood that her pain was carving channels in her soul, through which divine wisdom could flow. This transformation didn't erase her grief, but it transmuted it. Her suffering became the foundation for her life's work, creating support systems for bereaved parents, helping hundreds navigate their own journeys through loss. What seemed like her destruction became her salvation, and the salvation of many others. The truth is that pain breaks us open. It cracks the shell of who we think we are to reveal who we're meant to become. When you suffer, the universe is not punishing you, it's preparing you for a greater purpose, one that your conscious mind may not yet comprehend. In the spiritual traditions of the East, there is a concept called the dark night of the soul, a period of spiritual desolation, where it seems all meaning has been stripped away. These passages feel endless when we're in them, but they are, in truth, the birth canal through which our higher self emerges. Think of a sword being forged. The metal must endure extreme heat, repeated hammering, and the shock of cold water. This process seems violent, even destructive, but without it, the metal remains weak, unable to fulfill its purpose. So too with the human spirit. Our greatest strengths are often forged in the fires of our deepest pain. What if we could see our suffering not as a curse, but as a sacred initiation? What if the very thing that seems to be destroying us is actually creating us? This perspective doesn't diminish the reality of pain, but it infuses it with meaning and purpose. When we suffer, we are not moving away from our divine purpose, we are moving directly toward it. The question then becomes not "why is this happening to me?" but rather, what is this preparing me for? What greater capacity is being developed within me? Throughout history, the greatest spiritual teachers and healers often emerged from periods of intense suffering. Their pain became the doorway through which they accessed deeper wisdom. Their wounds became the source of their unique medicine for the world. Consider for a moment, what if your current challenge is not a detour from your path, but the path itself? What if this difficult passage is precisely where your soul intended to travel? The hidden realm where souls wait to be born is a place of profound wisdom and purpose. There, before entering physical form, each soul reviews the lessons it needs to learn and chooses the circumstances that will best facilitate that growth. From that higher perspective, what appears as suffering in human terms is recognized as opportunity for spiritual evolution. When we speak of purpose, we often think of accomplishments or career paths, external markers of success and meaning. But there exists a deeper purpose that transcends these worldly definitions, a sacred contract that your soul entered into before taking human form. In the hidden realm, where souls prepare for incarnation, each consciousness carefully selects the experiences, challenges, and even limitations they will face in their coming lifetime. This may seem counterintuitive. Why would any soul choose difficulty? Yet from the perspective of eternal wisdom, these challenges are seen as precious opportunities for growth. James, a successful businessman, experienced this truth firsthand. For decades, he pursued wealth and status with single-minded determination. By conventional standards, he had achieved everything: the mansion, the luxury cars, the admiration of his peers. Yet inside, an inexplicable emptiness grew. Despite having everything he thought he wanted, he felt increasingly disconnected from any sense of meaning. Then came what appeared to be catastrophe. a financial collapse that wiped away his fortune almost overnight. His identity shattered along with his bank accounts. In the depth of this crisis, unable to sleep one night, James walked to a nearby park and sat beneath the stars. There, stripped of everything he had used to define himself, he experienced a profound revelation. He was not his possessions, his achievements, or even his failures. He was something far more essential. This moment became the true beginning of James's life. The collapse that seemed like an ending was actually an initiation into his soul's true purpose. In the years that followed, he dedicated himself to helping others find meaning beyond materialism, touching far more lives than he ever had as a wealthy businessman. What appeared to be his greatest failure was, in truth, his soul's greatest success. This pattern repeats throughout human experience. The events that seem most destructive often contain within them the seeds of our most profound transformation. The hidden purpose of existence isn't about avoiding difficulty. It's about recognizing the spiritual opportunities contained within each challenge. What we call obstacles are often doorways. What we experience as problems are frequently invitations. The question is whether we have the courage to walk through these doorways, to accept these invitations. Many spiritual traditions speak of life as a school for the soul. Each difficult experience offers a lesson that our higher self has deemed essential for our evolution. When we resist these lessons, suffering intensifies. When we embrace them, even pain becomes meaningful. Not because it hurts less, but because it serves a greater purpose. Consider the phenomenon of the lotus flower. It grows from the murkiest depths of swamp water, pushing through mud and muck, before emerging to bloom with breathtaking beauty on the surface. Without the mud, there would be no lotus. So too with the human spirit. Our most beautiful expressions often emerge from what appear to be the darkest circumstances. The psychiatrist Viktor Frankl, who survived the Nazi concentration camps, discovered this profound truth in the most extreme conditions imaginable. He observed that even in those horrific circumstances, some prisoners maintained their inner dignity and even found ways to help others. Through this experience, he developed his theory that the primary motivational force in humans is the search for meaning. Those who have a why to live, he wrote, can bear almost any how. This understanding reveals something essential about our existence. Meaning transforms suffering. When we recognize that our challenges serve a higher purpose, that they are not random but intentional, we can endure what once seemed unbearable. The hidden purpose of your existence isn't something you create or invent. It's something you discover and unveil. It's already there, woven into the fabric of your life circumstances, your natural talents, your deepest wounds, and even your most persistent struggles. Your soul chose this particular time, this specific body, these precise circumstances, because they provide the perfect conditions for the evolution it seeks. The parts of your life that seem most broken may be exactly where your soul's purpose is trying to emerge. In the spiritual teachings preserved across cultures, there is a recurring theme. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience, but spiritual beings having a human experience. From this perspective, the purpose of existence isn't about what we achieve in material terms, but about how we grow in consciousness and capacity for love. Every challenge you face asks the same essential question. Will you contract in fear or expand in love? Will you close down in bitterness or open to greater wisdom? These moments of choice, often arriving disguised as problems, are the true purpose of your existence. They are opportunities for your soul to remember its true nature and express its highest potential. Behind the veil of ordinary existence lies a profound truth. Each soul arrives on earth with a unique mission, a specific contribution that only they can make. This mission isn't something assigned to us by external authority. It's an expression of our deepest essence, a calling that emerges from within. In the hidden realm where souls prepare for incarnation, each consciousness carries with it the accumulated wisdom of countless journeys. Yet each soul also brings something entirely unique, a particular quality of divine energy that seeks expression through that individual alone. Some call this your soul's purpose. Others name it your sacred mission. Consider Eleanor, a woman who spent decades trying to fit into conventional roles and expectations. She pursued careers that brought financial security, but left her feeling depleted. She entered relationships that seemed appropriate on paper, but never touched her heart. By middle age, depression had become her constant companion. Not because she had failed, but because she had succeeded at living someone else's life, rather than her own. The turning point came through illness. A diagnosis that initially seemed devastating forced Elena to stop everything and listen to her body, and through it, to her soul. In the quiet space created by her recovery, she began hearing an inner voice that had been trying to reach her for years. This voice didn't speak of what she should do. It spoke of who she truly was. Elena discovered that her unique gift was her capacity to help others navigate life transitions. Her own struggles had given her a map of the territory between endings and new beginnings. What followed wasn't an overnight transformation, but a gradual realignment. She began sharing her insights first with friends, then in small groups, eventually creating programs that supported thousands through their own life passages. What appeared initially as misfortune, her illness, was actually the universe's way of redirecting her toward her soul's mission. The pain served as a compass, pointing her toward her true north when she had wandered far off course. This pattern appears repeatedly in human experience. Our greatest difficulties often mark the places where our soul's mission is trying to emerge into consciousness. The persistent problems, the recurring wounds, the situations that won't resolve despite our best efforts. These are not simply obstacles to happiness. They are gateways to our authentic purpose. Many spiritual traditions speak of karma, the accumulated effects of past actions that shape our present circumstances. From this perspective, the challenges we face aren't random misfortunes, but precisely calibrated opportunities for growth and service. They are areas where our soul has unfinished business, unlearned lessons, or untapped potential. The 13th century poet Rumi captured this understanding beautifully. The wound is the place where the light enters you. Our vulnerabilities, our sensitivities, our areas of struggle, these are often the exact places where our unique gifts lie dormant, waiting to be activated through our conscious engagement. Thomas, a man who stuttered severely since childhood, spent years viewing his speech impediment as a cruel cosmic joke. He avoided speaking in public, limited his social interactions, and chose a career that required minimal verbal communication. Yet he carried a persistent longing to connect with others through words. In his 40s, Thomas reluctantly joined a support group for people with speech difficulties. Initially, he went only to listen, but something unexpected happened as he witnessed others struggling with similar challenges. Compassion arose where shame had dominated. Gradually, he began sharing his own experiences, his stutter still present, but no longer defining him. Over time, Thomas discovered that his struggle with speech had given him an extraordinary capacity to listen, to hear not just words, but the emotions and unspoken truths beneath them. He developed workshops that helped people with and without speech impediments communicate from a deeper place of authenticity. His limitation became the foundation for his greatest contribution. This is the paradox of the soul's mission. Our greatest gifts often lie hidden within our deepest wounds. The aspects of life where we've struggled most intensely are frequently the areas where we have the most to offer others, not despite our difficulties, but because of them, because they've forced us to develop wisdom, compassion, and resources we wouldn't have discovered otherwise. In ancient mystery traditions, initiates underwent symbolic death experiences before rebirth into higher consciousness. Today, we undergo similar initiations, though rarely recognizing them as such. The loss of a relationship, a career setback, health challenges, or financial difficulties. These modern initiations strip away our illusions about who we are, creating space for our authentic self to emerge. Your soul's hidden mission isn't separate from these challenging experiences. It's revealed through them. Each difficulty strips away another layer of who you are not, bringing you closer to who you truly are. Each challenge asks you to develop qualities and capacities that your mission requires. The beauty of this understanding is that it transforms how we view our struggles. When we recognize that our difficulties are not meaningless suffering, but purposeful challenges designed to awaken our unique gifts, everything changes. We no longer ask, "Why is this happening to me?" but rather, "What is this awakening in me? What capacity is this developing?" What understanding is this cultivating? Your soul chose specific challenges before incarnating, not as punishment, but as catalysts for awakening. The very experiences that have caused you the greatest pain may also be preparing you for your greatest service. Your wounds, fully acknowledged and integrated, become your medicine for the world. In the deeper realms of spiritual understanding lies a paradoxical truth. Our greatest power comes through surrender. Not surrender as defeat or resignation, but surrender as a profound alignment with the greater intelligence that orchestrates the universe itself. The ancient wisdom traditions speak of this surrender using different terminologies. Wu Wei in Taoism, Islam literally means submission, and the Christian mystics called it abandonment to divine providence. Regardless of the language used, these traditions point to the same essential understanding. When we release our ego's desperate grip on controlling outcomes, we open ourselves to a wisdom far beyond our limited perspective. Edgar spoke of this phenomenon through his unique lens of psychic perception. During his trance states, he described how souls in the hidden realm understand this principle with perfect clarity. It is only upon entering the physical dimension, with its dense illusion of separation, that we forget this essential truth and begin the exhausting effort to control life through force of will alone. Consider the experience of Robert, a man whose life was defined by ambition and achievement. From childhood, he was taught that success came through effort, discipline, and relentless drive. By his mid-40s, he had built a successful business empire, but at tremendous cost. His health was deteriorating, his relationships were shallow, and despite external success, inner fulfillment eluded him. The breaking point came in the form of a heart attack that left him hovering between life and death. In that liminal space, Robert experienced something beyond words. A profound recognition that despite his belief that he had been the architect of his life, a greater intelligence had been operating all along. He saw how events he had judged as failures had redirected him toward essential growth, while many of his successes had actually pulled him away from his soul's true path. Upon recovery, Robert's approach to life underwent a radical transformation. Rather than forcing outcomes through sheer will, he began listening for the subtle guidance that had always been present, but that he had been too busy to notice. Decisions that once consumed weeks of anxious deliberation now came through moments of quiet receptivity. Opportunities appeared with synchronistic timing. Even challenges were met with a new sense of trust in their hidden purpose. This doesn't mean Robert became passive. Rather, his action arose from a different source. Not the anxious striving of the ego, but the aligned wisdom of the soul. He discovered what the Bhagavad Gita calls inaction in action, effort without struggle, achievement without attachment, purpose without pressure. This paradoxical wisdom appears throughout spiritual traditions. Jesus taught his disciples to consider the lilies of the field, how they grow. They neither toil nor spin, yet even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. The Tao Te Ching advises, do your work, then step back, the only path to serenity. These teachings point to a way of being that transcends the exhausting pendulum of control and chaos that characterizes most human lives. At the heart of this wisdom lies a profound trust in the intelligent unfolding of life itself. Not a naive belief that everything will conform to our preferences, but a deeper recognition that even difficulties serve the evolution of consciousness, both individually and collectively. Sarah discovered this truth through her journey with chronic illness. For years, she fought against her condition, viewing her body as an enemy that had betrayed her. She pursued endless treatments, each promising the control she desperately sought. Yet health remained elusive, and her struggle added emotional suffering to her physical pain. The turning point came not through a miraculous cure, but through a subtle shift in relationship with her experience. During a meditation retreat, Sarah experienced a moment of profound surrender. She stopped fighting against her reality and simply allowed it to be as it was. In that space of acceptance, something unexpected emerged. Not the relief from pain she had sought, but a presence within the pain, a dimension of being that remained untouched by her physical condition. This didn't erase her symptoms, but it transformed her relationship with them. Rather than defining herself as a person struggling against illness, she recognized herself as a consciousness experiencing illness as one aspect of a much larger journey. This shift didn't just change her emotional state, it altered her entire approach to healing, opening her to modalities and insights that her previous resistance had blocked. The esoteric understanding of surrender reveals its true nature, not as weakness, but as alignment with the way things actually work. When we surrender our limited perspective, we gain access to a greater intelligence. When we release our attachment to specific outcomes, we open ourselves to possibilities our controlling mind could never imagine. This wisdom has practical implications for navigating life's challenges. When we face difficulty, our instinct is often to tighten our grip, to try harder, push further, control more rigidly. Yet this approach frequently intensifies our suffering while narrowing our perception of available options. Surrender, by contrast, creates space around our challenges. It doesn't mean giving up on meaningful action, but allowing that action to arise from a deeper source of wisdom. In the hidden realm where souls prepare for incarnation, this principle is perfectly understood. Each soul recognizes that its journey will unfold through a dance of intention and surrender, the sacred masculine and divine feminine energies working in harmony. It is only within the amnesia of physical incarnation that we forget this balance and lean heavily toward control, creating much of our suffering through this very imbalance. The invitation before each of us is to remember what our souls knew before birth, that we are not separate entities struggling against a hostile universe, but expressions of the universe itself, capable of aligning with its intelligence rather than fighting against its flow. This doesn't mean abandoning our unique purpose or distinctive contribution. Rather, it means fulfilling that purpose through alignment rather than struggle, through receptivity as much as action. When we surrender in this profound sense, we don't diminish our power. We access a greater power that works through us. We don't abandon our journey. We allow it to unfold with a wisdom beyond our limited perspective. We don't give up our uniqueness. We express that uniqueness as an instrument of something larger than ourselves. This is perhaps the deepest medicine for our troubled world. The recognition that beneath our apparent separation lies a unified intelligence seeking expression through each unique being. When we align with this intelligence through the paradoxical power of surrender, we not only transform our individual experience, we contribute to the healing of our collective consciousness. If these teachings have resonated with your soul's journey, there is more wisdom waiting to be revealed. Subscribe now to continue exploring the hidden realms of spiritual truth and transform your understanding of life's deepest challenges. Don't miss the next chapter in this awakening. Click subscribe, activate notifications, and join our community of seekers. Your soul has guided you here for a reason. Honor that guidance and take the next step now.